understand her purpose and advocate for her generation by encouraging them to recognize their value and share their unique value. As a proud member of the Kingdom Worship Center, led by Bishop Gregory Dennis and Pastor Tanya Dennis, Madison finds joy in her spiritual community. At the age of 12, she started a podcast, Candid Conversations with Madison, where she engages in meaningful discussion that empowers her peers to tackle their challenges and embrace their unique voice. She made history by being the youngest person interviewed on the Soul Wealth radio show hosted by Dr. Vicki Johnson, where she shared the importance of listening to your children and creating safe spaces for healthy dialogue. She aspires to be an obstetrician and fetal surgeon. Madison enjoys singing in her school gospel choir and spending time with friends, family, and especially her friend Aiden. One of her favorite scriptures, Exodus 14:14. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Madison's motto is keep it cute and keep it candid. Presenting Madison Hamilton.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As she read in my bio, my name is Madison Hamilton. Ms. Shirley asked me to come here today and talk a little bit about what I'm doing and basically share my story. Before I start, I just want to thank Ms. Shirley in her absence for the opportunity to speak. I get excited every time I have the opportunity to share my story with people. And thank you all for the hospitality and the food and all of that. So just getting right into it, when I was 12 years old, I was offered the opportunity to host a podcast called Candid Conversations. This was in December of 2024, and I was offered it by this woman named Portia Wheatley. She is the CEO, the president of this nonprofit organization called Trophy of Life. It's a nonprofit organization where we offer hope and encouragement to the world. And her and her board wanted to have a segment for the youth and extend a branch out to the youth and encourage the youth. So she discussed it with her board, prayed over it with her board, and they decided on me. And when she called my mom, and my mom told me, Ms. Portia, there's something she wants to talk to you about, there's something she wants to ask you. And when she told me, at first I was really, really surprised. I was nervous. And I was like, if I say yes, like, what are people gonna think? Are people gonna think I'm weird? Like, because if you probably know, there are not a lot of people my age who host podcasts or who host podcasts or who uplift the youth. So I thought that I would be seen as weird, or it would just be different, and I wasn't quite comfortable with that yet. What I told her was, and the first thing that actually came to mind was, I need to pray about it. I think prayer is the most important thing ever, and the Bible talks about how you should pray without ceasing. So in that moment, that's what came to mind. I told her I wanted to pray about that, and of course she respected that, and she said, take all the time you need. As she read in my bio, I go to a private Christian school, so every Wednesday we have chapel. And in chapel, the message was talking about being a light and oftentimes a word of darkness. And the best way I can explain it is when I was in my seat, I just got this woosah moment. And that's the best way I can explain it. I just got this woosah moment, like, you need to tell her yes. That's what I felt God saying. So I called her the next day, told her yes, this is what I was gonna do. And I remember I was always so nervous. I had to do dry runs before I would do the podcast, like the day before I would have to do a dry run. I was always so nervous. I'm so glad that now I have overcome the fear and the nervous emotions. And I can go back on YouTube and see how I have grown and matured over these past few months. So I'm really grateful for that. Some of the topics that I've talked about recently are peer pressure, the understanding of your purpose, and the power of your yes. I want to talk a little bit about why I do it. I do it to advocate for the youth. I think that's really important. I think that we are living in a society or living in a time where a lot of adults or older people, I won't say all, because not all adults think that way or have this mindset, but some of them have the mindset of being a kid is easy. It's not hard. You go to school, you do your homework, you wake up the next day and do it all again. And I think that it's a lot more complex than that. And I think when I said that a lot of the youth can agree, it's a lot more complicated than that. And I think that us as youth, we can change that narrative of being a kid is easy. We can let our parents know what we do, what our day-to-day life looks like, what we struggle with. And also to show the youth and to show people older than me and people younger than me and just the youth that whatever you're going through, you're not going through it alone. There's someone the same age as you, who looks like you, who talks like you, who is going through the same thing. And I think that it's important because we can relate to each other. And in relating to each other, you find community. And I think that's really important. I want to read this verse. This is another one of my favorite Bible verses aside from Exodus 14:14. It's in 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy, before I read the verse, I want to give like backstory on what 1 Timothy is. It is a book about instructions for a young disciple. So basically it's just instructions on a young follower of God. It's written by Paul, and it's basically Paul writing a letter to Timothy, giving him practical advice about what it's like to be a young disciple, and how you should go about that, how to grow your relationship with God while you're young. So the verse is 1 Timothy 4:12, and this is the New Living Translation that I'm reading from. It says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and in your purity." So basically what Paul is saying to Timothy is, don't let people underestimate you because you're young. And I think that, honestly, a lot of adults, whether that's in ministry or just in school or wherever it may be, a lot of adults, I won't say a lot, but some adults underestimate children. And it's really, really unfortunate because we have a lot of potential. And I want to go back to when Jesus was entering Jerusalem during Holy Week. He was disappointed in the people because the same people that were shouting Hosanna and waving the palm and doing all of that, they would be the same people a few days later shouting crucify him.
Absolutely.
But when he saw the children, they gave him joy. When he saw the children, their innocence made him happy. Their innocence, their pure love and their innocence. So I think Jesus wants to hear from any and everybody, but the children specifically. And that is something I like to talk about and bring up when Jesus was entering Jerusalem, because I think that it really relates to what I'm trying to do, advocate for the youth and how Jesus wants to hear from us. And I think that we are in a time where the youth we're kind of stuck, or we're in the middle, like this gray area where we want to be closer to God, but then we feel stuck. We don't know how. So with this and with my podcast, I'm trying to teach youth and people my age how to get closer to God. Bible verses to get closer to God. And leading into that, I want to share this Bible. This is a Bible for the youth. It is called A Girl After God's Own Heart Bible by Elizabeth George, and I believe that she has a version for the males. So if you are talking to the youth specifically, if you are looking to get closer to God, and you want to get more into your word, this is definitely a good Bible to read. This is the New Living Translation. It has sections before you start the book where you can read a bio about the book that it's talking about, and you can see who wrote it. It gives you a little bit of information before you start reading, which I think is really helpful, and it's definitely helped me. Also because, or at least I know at my school, we have to read King James Version, and if you've read King James Version's Bibles, you probably know that sometimes they can be a little difficult to read, a little difficult to comprehend, so this is definitely helpful. But moving on, I want to talk about how, because I say yes to Candid Conversations, this opened other doors for me. So because I say yes to Candid Conversations, as she said right in my bio, I was offered the opportunity to host a girls' conference. Host a girls' conference and be on a radio show. It is the Soul Wealth radio show, and Dr. Vicki Johnson is actually the host of Soul Wealth radio show, and she's actually who I did hosted the girls' conference for, and it was sponsored by Dove Soap, the soap. So that was really cool, and because I said yes to one thing, it just kept opening up many doors for me. This included, because I said yes to my podcast, because some people have seen my interview that I did, and because some people saw on Facebook that I hosted a girls' conference, I have been offered different opportunities, and they have seen how I'm growing, seen how I'm maturing. When I was doing the interview, like the Soul Wealth radio show interview, when Dr. Vicki was interviewing me, I told her I was really nervous. Like, I'm really nervous. I said I'm really nervous. I was really nervous at first, but now I'm having fun. I felt free. I was very, very nervous, and I don't know. I can only speak for myself. And when I get nervous, I get really jittery. My legs start to feel like gel. I get this feeling in my stomach, and it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And sometimes it can impact my delivery and how I say things. So I just wanted to put it out there that when I was doing it, like if I was messing up or saying anything wrong, I was nervous at first, but now I feel free. It felt good. It felt happy. It felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be. I was delivering my purpose. I was being obedient. She asked me, well, why were you nervous? And I said, I think that I know that I'm a person who is afraid of failure. I will say that I'm a perfectionist. Oftentimes I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be neat. I want everything to be tidy. I want everything to be just right. But what I had to learn, and what I'm still learning and overcoming, is the only person who was ever perfect and will ever be perfect is Jesus. I learned that, and I'm still learning that. And it's about taking it day by day, step by step, opportunity by opportunity. And God doesn't want perfection. He just wants your love. He wants your faithfulness. He wants your obedience. He doesn't want everything to be perfect about you. He knows that nothing is perfect about you. He knows that you're a sinner, but He saved you from that. And I think that oftentimes I know I need that reminder, because I think I know that it's a unrealistic mindset to expect everything to be perfect all the time, and that's something that I'm learning. But after I told Dr. Vicki, like, I was nervous, but now I'm okay. And she asked me, why were you nervous? I said, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a person who is afraid to fail. And she was like, can I help you with that? And I was like, of course. She said to me, you don't fail, you learn. Every failure, you never fail, but every mistake you make is a lesson learned. And you take it day by day, moment by moment, opportunity by opportunity, step by step, day by day. And Jesus will help you with that. We serve a God who says, I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Absolutely.
So you're never, ever, ever alone in anything.
Absolutely.
He's right there next to you every step of the way. I say all these things to say that whatever dream or goal you have, whatever you aspire to be or do in life, even for the adults and for the youth, do it, go after it. With the help of God, Jesus, like I said, He is our firm foundation. He will never leave us, never forsake us. I'm here today as a reminder to chase after your dreams, chase after your goals, and whatever you aspire to do, you got it. Thank you, everyone.
Amen.